So these are specific rules that govern how European countries need to reduce their emissions, and you can do one of very many things, because emissions don't just come from us using cars or trying to burn the things that we throw away. It can come from building buildings. It can come from livestock. So there's a wide array of choices that governments have to make, and some governments have to make more difficult choices than others. With the last European Commission, which came into effect in 2019, that commission said we need to have a better policy governing how the member states can actually do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to call that the European Green Deal, which was actually inspired by the American Green New Deal under AOC. They didn't borrow the policies; they essentially just borrowed the name, and they went with that. And on top of the significant investments into renewable energies, it also set specific targets as to which sector had to do what. Within the European Green Deal, you have other roadmaps of policies. So these are not packaged legislations, but they are essentially setting out the goals, what we try to get. Within the European Green Deal, you had something called Farm to Fork. And the Farm to Fork strategy, which set out what agriculture had to do. Because European regulators looked at agriculture as, well, contributing between 10 and 15% of all the greenhouse gas emissions in Europe to the brink of sort of what we're trying to reduce, and said, well, how do we do that? And they set out specific targets that they were trying to reach, and then create legislation down the road to make that happen. So Farm to Fork had very, I mean, I don't want to use choice words.
You're free on this show. Go ahead. I'm sure our audience will encourage you.
I'm trying to be polite, but I mean, okay, ultimately, they were goals that were not based on facts and had actually very little to do with greenhouse gas emissions, but they were still goals regardless.